As many of you are aware, God of War Ragnarok released November 9th, and it is the sequel to 2018's God of War and a part of the God of War saga as a whole. First things first, just gotta get out of the way. The game is great. Amazing. Fantastic. Everything positive I could think of, the game is. It does have its mistakes, it does have its flaws, just like any other game, but the game is great. The hype is real, and it's justified. Now, I've been playing the God of War game since its inception. The first God of War came out in 2005. I believe I was in elementary when I first played it. For the first time, I had a demo disc of the first God of War, and I used to replay that demo. I'd replay that like it was the actual game. I won't say obsessed, but I was hooked for sure. I never seen something like that, seeing the Hydra come out and attack Kratos, like, that was something I hadn't seen in a video game before at the time. Maybe next to my favorite game series, Metal Gear, that's always been my favorite. Metal Gear has some amazing set pieces and movie-like moments as well, but yeah, God of War definitely brought a lot of new things to the table, and it seems like it's still doing that even in 2022. When Ragnarok released, I was very excited to play, but also very nervous because of all the spoilers that was going around. That was my main motivation to complete the game, was I can't get spoiled, so let me beat this as fast as possible. And I did enjoy it though. Like, I didn't rush too much, I'd say. Like, I did side missions. I put about 30 hours into the game before I finished it, so I definitely got my money's worth. And that's the cool thing about this game, actually. Even though I put 30 hours into the game, I still barely scratched the surface of everything that it has to offer. It's one of those games that you really should take your time with, but at the same time, I don't blame you if you're just trying to, finish the story and avoid spoilers, because that's what I was doing for the most part. But like I said, I did do side missions. I did take my time somewhat. But in the back of my mind, I was always like, okay, I gotta beat this as fast as possible. So there's that. But yeah, definitely just try to enjoy the game when you get your hands on it. If you haven't got your hands on it by now, which, if that's the case, what are you doing? What are you doing with your life? I'm playing, but yeah, to go out and buy the game, that's the first thing I should say, actually. Buy the game. If you haven't played 2018's God of War, buy it. If you haven't played the other God of Wars, the older ones, buy those as well, or play them through actually, no, I wouldn't recommend playing them through PlayStation Now or any streaming. But if you can, I don't know, if you could figure out some way of playing the old God of Wars, please do, because it's not that you necessarily need them to enjoy this game. If you play 2018's God of War and then you come to this, you're gonna enjoy it regardless. But I don't know, it's like watching Endgame, right? But you haven't seen the other Marvel movies. You might be like, oh, this is a cool movie, like this has cool effects, has good action, but it's not gonna hit the same as if you are watching all of the Marvel movies. You know what I mean? It's just not gonna be the same. And I feel that way with this game as well. There's so many references to the old games that, man, like when I heard them and seen them, I was just like, oh yeah. Especially like in 2018's God of War, the moment when Kratos gets the Blades of Chaos, if you haven't played it, I don't know what you're doing, but he gets the Blades of Chaos. And that was one of the hypest moments. Like, I was so hyped because I wasn't expecting it, one. And two, because it's the Blades of Chaos. That's what Kratos is known for from the old games. So obviously, if you played the original games, that moment was epic. And that's not to say that if you didn't play the original games, that you didn't enjoy that moment. Like, even if you didn't play those games, I'm sure that it was still epic. But I don't know. I'm just saying that it hits different if you played the originals. That's all. I'm one of those people. I like to play things in order, because you just get the full gist of everything. But at the same time, I know not everyone is able to play the old ones, so hey, it's all good. But if you're capable of playing the originals, please, once again, I'll say please, try them out. I think it will make the experience even better than it already is. But back to Ragnarok, the game is great. I'd say the story, the music, the scenes, everything, and especially the gameplay, I think for the most part is better than 2018's God of War. Like, there is some things that I do feel that 2018 did a little better, mainly just regarding some story stuff. But besides that, Ragnarok is definitely superior in my opinion, in just about every other way. And don't get me wrong, the story is still amazing. There's just some stuff that I was like, oh, okay. It's just, it just kind of caught me off guard how they handled it. But it doesn't take away from the game. And gameplay wise, Ragnarok is just amazing. It takes everything that 2018 did right and improves upon it. Similarly to how Doom Eternal was to Doom 2016. It just takes the foundation, which was already amazing, already great gameplay, and they just improve upon it. So I don't really have any gripes with the gameplay of Ragnarok beyond some minor annoyances. Mainly just some exploration things and some puzzle stuff. There's a lot of times where you'll be, exploring on your boat and you'll be following your compass. And I don't know what it is, but the compass will have you going like from left to right, back to left, back to like basically going in circles sometimes. There were so many times where it would be pointing like, okay, you're supposed to go straight. And then I look back up at it and it's like, it's saying, nah, you gotta go all the way right. Like, so that was a little annoying. Like, mind you, I did manage to get my way around. Like, I was able to reach the objectives, but it definitely was a little, I don't know, tedious, I guess you could say, when I first started playing. Another annoyance I ran into with this game was the puzzles. Now, it's not because the puzzles were necessarily hard or challenging. It's because your damn companions talk too damn much. Like, for instance, there's this moment in the game where I'm figuring out this puzzle, and I'm just, I already figured out the puzzle, so I'm like, I'm cool. And Mimir is still trying to tell me how to figure out this puzzle. I'm like, bro, I did it. I already figured out the puzzle. Like, why are you still telling me how to do this puzzle? But man, there's so many times where you just be trying to figure it out. You're trying to solve a puzzle and whatnot, and your partners would just be giving you all the answers. They hold your hands too much on this game. That's the main thing that I would say annoyed me, was just I would be trying to figure out a puzzle, and before I could even gather my thoughts, my partner would be telling me, oh, you should go here, you should go here. I would just hear Mimir like, yeah, there, go right there. That's how you figure out the puzzle. And it just kind of took me out of the whole thing. Like, there is an option. I have to mention that there is an option to turn it off. I did figure that out later on, like way later in the game. Like, oh, I can actually limit the amount of talking that is done when you're figuring out puzzles. But I didn't find that out I didn't find that out until like the end of the game, so I was pretty annoyed by it for the most part. But for any of you who get to play the game after seeing this video, or you just get to play it later, just keep in mind that option. Please do yourself a favor and turn it off. Limit the amount of talking that is done, because like I said, it can really take you out of the experience. But beyond that, I can't really complain about too much. Like I said, there are some more spongy enemies that you face later on towards the game. Especially if you're playing on a higher difficulty, it could be like real annoying. But I say beyond the compass thing, the puzzle talking, some of the sponginess, and some story stuff, which, like, you know, I can probably get into that in another video. But beyond all that stuff, the game was amazing. I have no complaints. It's actually hard for me to even think of something to complain about beyond that. So there's that, you know. So with this video, I didn't really want to do a full-on review. I just wanted to give my initial impressions of the game and my thoughts on it. I didn't want it to take too long. Obviously, if it were to come to spoilers and stuff, I could talk all day about this game. Honestly, there's so much stuff that I've thought about and I could break down. But I don't know, maybe in another video I'll do more spoilery talk or whatever. But right now I just want to give my initial impressions for those who may be thinking about buying the game for themselves. Someone that's a casual fan of God of War or new to the series. And what I think they should do. First off, if you played God of War 2018, then you cool. You should be fine playing this. I don't see, well, if you beat it, I wouldn't recommend playing this one until you beat that one. But yeah, you'll be fine. If you played that one and you come to this, it should be pretty seamless. But as I said before, if you want to get that full experience, or like have that, I don't know, like just have that, I don't know, that edge to certain things. It's kind of hard for me to explain, but there's a certain edge you have when you played the original, so you played the older games. It's just like, oh, like there are so many times where I was playing this and I caught a reference and I was like, oh, that's sick, oh, that's dope. And I would talk to my friends who also played the originals, and we just be like, oh yeah, you seen that part? Like, it just hits a little different. And I say, like, if you want that, that little edge, then I would recommend playing the originals if possible. Like, if you can't buy a PS2, you can't emulate or play it through streaming, then okay, but if you can, I definitely highly recommend to do so. You don't gotta play all of them necessarily, but at least play, like, I'd say like 3 is so good. And that's another note I wanted to make. I still don't think 3 has been touched when it comes to scale. This one has a lot of scale, it has a lot of things going on, and I still don't think it comes I don't think it comes to the same level that 3 was. I think God of War 3 is still unbeaten when it comes to just the grand scope of things. In my opinion, everyone's gonna have their own opinion, but in my opinion, it comes close, but it's not quite there. It's like, I'd say it's like, maybe a point or two off from being where God of War 3 is as far as scale, in my opinion. But yeah, like I was saying, I'd recommend playing at least God of War 2 and 3. Maybe? The first one, obviously, I would recommend that you would play that one too, obviously. But if you just want to play some old ones, but get a quick little feel for things, 2 and 3, because they refer to those ones in like God of War 2018 and whatnot. I think a lot of references from those ones would be worthwhile. And obviously the first one, dang, I want to say just play all of them, but I know not everyone's going to want to play all of them, so just play whatever ones you can, but at least give the old ones a shot. That's what I'll say. At least give it a shot. But yeah, I think I'm going to wrap it up there. If anyone wants to talk God of War, talk video games in general, feel free to leave a comment. I'm always up to talking. I love talking about this sort of stuff. So feel free. If you enjoy my content or you want to see more, I appreciate any support. Thumbs up, like, subscribe, all that. And yeah, let me know if you want to see more God of War content or any other game you might want me to talk about, and I will do so. This is Solid J. Take it easy.